up, NEMA monitoring an earthquake for possible threat to the Bahamas. Hear why Customs is sending out a stern warning to business owners. And a man hauled before the court for attempted murder. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening all. I'm Shashina Rolf-Farquharson. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping the news, a scary experience for the nation's capital today as tremors from a powerful 7.7 magnitude earthquake struck Montego Bay, Jamaica. Tonight, the National Emergency Management Agency is carefully monitoring for further earthquake advisories and any tsunami threat messages from the Pacific Disaster Center out of Hawaii. NEMA has also issued a statement on this latest and unexpected turn of events. No tsunami threat has been forecast for anywhere in the Bahamas, and there are no reports of injuries or damage. That statement coming from a press release issued by the National Emergency Management Agency. This coming as NEMA makes it clear that it is monitoring the major earthquake for possible threat to the Bahamas. According to the statement, the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center advised that a powerful 7.7 magnitude earthquake occurred 83 miles northwest of Montego Bay, Jamaica at approximately 2:10 p.m. on Tuesday at the depth of 6 miles, which was felt in New Providence around 2:15 p.m. Reports reaching NEMA are that buildings have been evacuated due to tremors being felt from the earthquake in areas around New Providence. There has been no reports of tremors being felt in the Northwest Bahamas. Now, the statement adds that the Pacific Disaster Center out of Hawaii is actively monitoring the region for potential impacts to the population. According to United States Geological Survey models, light to moderate shaking was experienced in Jamaica. The model indicates a low likelihood of casualties and damage from the shaking. NEMA and the lead agency, the Bahamas Department of Meteorology, will carefully monitor any further earthquake advisories and tsunami threat messages from the PTWC and will advise the public accordingly, along with the Ministry for Disaster Preparedness. Now, the National Emergency has issued a statement confirming that no tsunami threat has been forecast for the Bahamas. So once again, no tsunami threat has been forecast for any island in the Bahamas. Switching gears now, the Customs Department sending a stern warning to customs and bond licensees who may be operating outside of the law. Jamila Mizik has details.
The Customs and Excise Department on Grants Bahama increasing their law enforcement efforts by cracking down on offenders. Authorities at the department say they have noticed a saturation of companies acting as couriers and purchasing agents who are not properly regulated. Customs Superintendent and Officer in charge of the Grants Bahama District, Gregory Jones.
We have had series of meetings with them, and we try to encourage them to become regularized. Because it is our humble opinion that it is not fair for someone to be firstly competing illegally with a legally recognized enterprise. So hence, we are now decide to level the playing field, right? If they do not become regularized, then they will be dealt with in a manner prescribed by the existing customs laws and regulations.
The department is also advising the public that all customs bond and licenses expired on December 31st, 2019, and if not renewed by February 1st, 2020, all services associated with bonds and licenses will be discontinued and persons will not be allowed to operate.
We'd also like to encourage persons who on monthly payment plans with this department. We ask you that you continue to honor your agreements. The collection of over-the-counter letters are currently underway. If you have not yet done so, your letter can be collected on the 3rd floor reception area. And we want to let you know that proper IDs are required. If for some reason you cannot make an appearance in person, and if you authorize somebody else to do it, we would like for them to be furnished with a copy of a letter of authorization.
He's also sending this warning to persons who are committing tobacco product violations.
It's come to the attention of this department that there are business establishments here in Grand Bahama who are reportedly offering tobacco products in absence of the stamp for sale to the public. I wish to clearly make it known that this is an offense under the provisions of the Excise Stamp Tobacco Products Controlling Regulations of 2013. Anyone found in violation of the said act can be subject to fines from $1,000 up to $500,000.
Jamila Mizik, ZNS Network News.
The Grand Bahama Children's Home continuing to take strides in the right direction, and that's thanks to corporate Grand Bahama. Tonight, the executive director is sharing the good news that Grand Bahama's babies could be just 2 months away from returning home. Megan Shepard has the update.
Employees of Spartan Construction working tirelessly at the Grand Bahama Children's Home, rebuilding the rooms and facilities that over 30 children called home prior to Hurricane Dorian. General Manager of Spartans, Deshaun Smith, says that the scope of work was quite extensive, considering the overall square footage of the grounds.
Right now we're in the framing stage and drywall, so we would have removed a lot of those damaged areas already. Right now we're trying to make changes and corrections to improvements to the buildings in terms of electrical wiring. Like I said, the damaged stud walls that you see that were removed, those are now being replaced so that sheetrock could begin. We would have done some improvements by way of architectural plans for the bringing the buildings back up to code for handicap accessibility. So ramps will be going into the buildings. Some of the restrooms are being outfitted that they can accommodate wheelchair access. So those are some of the considerations that we made so that the home could be in better shape for today's dwelling.
Smith says that they are excited to see the work progressing well, and she's even more excited about the layout upgrades made by Spartan. She says that she spoke to the children recently, and they are excited to return to Grand Bahama.
They are resilient children. The last time I saw them, they asked me, when are we going home? And they're ready to come home because they miss their families as well, and they miss their own environment. We are so grateful to the homes in Nassau. They have done a really good job in taking care of our children, but it is a tight situation. And as you can see, our children are used to open spaces, having their own space and all of that. And so they are ready to come home. We are ready for them to come home.
Now, as to when they can be reunited.
We're shooting for March right now. A lot of our long lead items, doors, windows, those type of things have already been ordered. So we hope to have them in Ireland within the next week or two. That would be I think the slowest part of the process is not having them in time. So right now we're on schedule with that. So we're dialing up our efforts to make sure that we could kind of make that time frame.
Smith is encouraging other residents to chip in as much as they can.
Things are progressing well. You know, there's always assistance that the home needs, and they're always encouraging people to try to assist, you know, financially or time-wise wherever they can. I think Ms. Sheila Smith has always been very accepting of the community donations, and I see a lot of people have already been doing that through social media and stuff like that. But just, I would say, follow what's going on and try to help wherever you can.
The executive director adds that the home is also in need of a bus that can accommodate at least 20 persons. She says this will help in transporting the children to and from school as well as other outings. Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
Rotary clubs across Grand Bahama are known for their year-round efforts in supporting the Grand Bahama community. And since Hurricane Dorian's lasting impact on the island, the NGO has put their efforts into overdrive. Jamila Mizik explains.
Rotary GB District 6990 still hard at work assisting residents in the Hudson Estate and Regency Park communities to get back into their homes. Residents were able to pick up building supplies from the YMCA grounds courtesy of Rotary. After conducting assessments in the areas, mucking and gutting and mold remediation in the homes, Rotary Area Governor Lisbeth Knoll says those residents are now able to get their supplies for the rebuilding phase.
So instead of going from home to home, which we have done before, we decided it was easier and faster and we could help more people by getting everybody here, getting all supplies here, and we call them and give them a time where they can come and pick up their supplies. So they're lined up and it's very orderly and I'm so amazed. It's really, really going well.
So far, Rotary has assisted 160 homes in mold remediation, and 80 of those households were able to get supplies. Assistant Governor Darren Cooper says Rotary continues to work in the East as well as Freeport, and persons are appreciative of their efforts.
A lot of persons are grateful for the assistance to see that they can get their lives back to some sense of normalcy, and to see an organization that will just come and to just try to do it in decency and in an order where we wouldn't have you total long lines. We actually go to you, do our assessment, and then see what the assistance is that you need, and we come back with that. And so today may be a little line towing because it's easier for us to distribute in this type of fashion where we can accomplish more rather than doing the individual drop-off, which is time-consuming.
Now, Rotary is thanking their international and local partners for all of their generous donations. And here's why he says supporting NGOs like Rotary is important.
For us, when we have funds, we raise funds throughout the year, and that is not for us to keep in our account, but that is for us to give back to the community. And so every dollar that Rotary and all of our Rotary clubs on the island raise, it is to go back into the community. And we're not only doing this, but we have an emergency water plant that continues to be functioning 12 months out of the year. We have scholarships that each club that would distribute. We have students that comes from abroad that we house, and so we do a lot throughout the year. And so when you support Rotary, you're supporting your community because we're going to give that back to you.
Jamila Mizik, ZNS Network News.
In news from the crime beat, Nigel Forbes, age 42 years, of number 16 Bradfield Lane, was arraigned today for attempted murder and 3 counts of possession of a firearm with the intent to put another in fear. He was not required to enter a plea. The matter was adjourned to April 20th at 11 a.m. He was also charged with possession of a firearm while committing an indictable offense. He pleaded not guilty, and the matter was adjourned to the 20th of April. These are all in connection to an incident that occurred last year at Out the Sea restaurant. And coming up, young men meeting in conference this past weekend. The details straight ahead.